United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I'd like to welcome everybody here to our April board meeting. Start with, we need to amend and/or accept tonight's agenda. Anybody have any amendments?
Make motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion support for tonight's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. At some point here, we gotta nominate somebody to be secretary tonight.
I mean, I'm the female role of secretary. I can be, I just have no idea what I have to do. To take copious notes.
Yep, and just
Okay.
sign a couple documents for
I
us.
can do that.
Okay.
And just, Lisa will touch base with you about
Okay, sounds good.
I nominate Becky.
Okay,
All right.
there you go.
Becky, you're nominated. Thank you.
You got it.
Public comment? Don't look like we're gonna have any comment tonight, so. We're gonna move on to routine matters. We need to approve our March minutes. Our March 18, I believe it was.
I'll make that motion. Support it.
We have a motion support for the minutes from our previous meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we need to consider our general fund invoices for payment. Matt?
I would like to make a motion to pay from the general fund check 77076 through 77224 for $202,914.98. And from food services check 77082 through 77224 for $52,441.55.
Support. We have motion support for the invoices. Any questions?
I'm gonna abstain. There's one in there for me.
Okay.
I have a question, just for information on we had a large payment to Mid-Michigan College for dual enrollment. So now those students are in our student count for state aid, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we don't pay that full amount to Mid-Michigan. Is that prorated then according to the classes they take, or?
Yeah, so we pay up to it's either $53 or $635. I can't ever remember. It's a formula that we use from the state that we use per class. If the class goes above that amount, then the student is responsible for that amount.
Oh.
If a student fails the classes, the student has to pay the district back for that amount. Some of the classes may be less than that, depending on how many credit hours there are. Some may be more, again, depending on.
So is this an annual amount then?
No, that's a semester.
That's a semester, okay.
And we just realized today that we also did not pay our fall semester. They had a changeover in billing at Mid-Michigan, and we think we just got missed, so we'll have another one pretty close to that amount again.
Okay.
It is budgeted for, and it does come out of our pupil funding.
Just curious.
Yep, good question.
Okay, we have motion support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Reports and communications, I don't really have anything to report on. Superintendent?
Yeah, I don't have much to report on either. We've only had a week of school since our last board meeting in spring break. So things are going well. Principal's been working hard on testing and getting the students ready and staff ready for the testing period. It's a stressful time for staff and for students to perform well on the test. We also have our seniors gone on our trip. They left on yesterday. And I got a text a couple hours ago. They're arriving into Philadelphia. getting ready to do some of the sightseeing stuff. Everything seems to be going pretty well on the trip. Projects, we've had a little bit of delay with the weather. Hoping that we'll get on the track again this week. And then also we've had just a couple of things with permits that we're working on with the state for the offices. Then we'll get back on track for the offices. So there's been progress. I'm just thankful that this delay didn't come in July. We're hitting the hiccups now for that. You also see in the board coming up in the action items, we had Stephanie Klein and Dan Verbrugge most voted for the outstanding persons in education. So excited for that for them. Couldn't say it's well deserved for both of them. And we're very thankful they're a part of the Wrangler staff. Any questions?
Okay, thanks. Liz, you're up.
We'll go over some of the budget things later in the agenda. So the food service excess fund balance spend on plan was submitted and it has been approved since I had done my notes. And so with the work that we had done, last year after July 1st and with the increase in food costs and adding some benefits for staff, we had that all in the plan and it was all approved. So, and I do not anticipate that we would have one at the end of this year. So as of right now, let's see. And then my other note there about the 27K student loan repayment program. That has been an interesting grant and working through the process of making sure that people are fully approved before we actually submit that application, which is due this week. So there are some requirements that they have to meet as far as being part of certain loan repayment plans. And so.
So is that based on what field they're in or economic need or?
No, basically they have to be in education, they have to work directly with students, they have to work more than 32 hours a week, that kind of a thing, and they have to be in an income-driven repayment plan is what it's called, and then they also have to be accepted as part of the federal loan forgiveness program, and so this is helping them get to, they have to make 100 payments, and so this helps them with those payments, and once they reach a certain point, then the federal government pays off the rest of their student loans, so.
Been a lot of hoops to jump through for the staff and for the business office, so it's been, unfortunately, not all of our staff qualify, and some of our teachers do, and some of them don't, depending on loans and different things.
And depending on when they apply for the federal loan program, they may or may not be approved by April 11th, and if they're not, they cannot be part of it, so, but, yeah.
This is a state portion, though, right? This is
right.
And it could be for 1 year or 2 years, not continued, we're not certain on that, so.
Depending on how many people are in it, and, yeah. And I rumor is that I think that all of this might have broke the system at the federal government with everybody applying. It sounds like they're gonna change some things on their end. Maybe they have been a bit overwhelmed with the number of people all of a sudden applying, so. But it's a good, it's a good program. I mean, you can have your student loans for sure. Mostly, paid off. Yeah. So, but we will make it work for the ones that it can work for, so. That's it for now.
Okay, any questions for Liz? All right, moving on to our principals. David, would you like to start again?
Sure. I apologize for being late. My daughter has dance in Cadillac at 5:30, so I'm trying to get her home and make all of that work, and so I'm just running a little bit behind today. Mr. Aiken mentioned MSTEP testing. Our 3rd and 5th graders started their MSTEP test today. We have a 6-week window, but we want to try to give our kids a little bit of a break before they start NWA testing. And we only have 8 weeks of school left, so fitting all of that in gets a It's a bit of a puzzle. Today went very well. Want to publicly thank Dylan, Jake, and Cole for all of their help and support and making sure that it ran smoothly, and my staff for being on the ball with all of that. But it was a good first day of getting kids in, and no major issues, and they were able to test, and it went well. So 3rd grade does reading and math, 4th grade does reading and math, and then 5th grade does reading, math, social studies, and science. So they have quite a bit to do, but 3rd and 5th started reading today. So yeah, it was a good start. Kindergarten roundup is scheduled for April 24th and 25th. In my update to you, I said we had 65 students signed up. We're up to 70, and probably even a little bit more than that after today. I didn't get a number from Mary Beth, but I think we could be well at 80 by the time we actually hold the event. We know there's some families out there in Little Wheels and Falmouth that have not called to sign up their kids, and so we're trying to encourage them to do that if they were planning kindergarten for the fall. In preparation for that, Wednesday of this week and Wednesday of next week, the preschool classes from both Little Wheels and Falmouth will come and do a visit. They always come, and they get to go in the classrooms and visit. They get to meet some of the teachers, hear a story, plant seeds, because they're going to grow when they come to us. And so it's a good little exposure for them, and gives us a little bit of an eye on the kids too. So Sherry Brinks and Dixie Nelson in Canada, Vandervelde have been busy planning all of that, as well as Roundup. So I'm very appreciative of their time and efforts in doing all of that. So I think those were the big things from me today. Just kind of getting things going as we head to the end of the year and finish out strong.
Okay. Thank you. Spencer.
Testing season. We start off this week with 8th grade M-STEP and PSAT. We are trying something a little bit different with M-STEP. Instead of taking more days to give disrupting for 2 hours every morning all the way through, we're going to try doing it with a longer chunk into a half day of it with a break in the middle. So we're disrupting the building classes, less chaos. The kids get tested out by the time they get to the end of it, where talking with teachers and kids, they feel like let's hit it in one day on the M-STEP instead of drag it out over multiple days. So we're going to try that. We're excited to see how that works for us. We have our end of the year field trip scheduled out. We have 8th grade going to Michigan Adventure on May 22nd. 7th grade is going to Grand Rapids to a trampoline park and another indoor activity park. It's a new spot that they're trying out. Can't remember what the name of it is. I was talking with Mrs. Sigma through the weekend over that. And then 6th grade is going to Michigan Adventures on May 24th. So nice staggered out through the 3 days. Besides that, we're really focused on our testing time. So it's a great time.
Okay. Thanks. Mrs. Rodenbach.
Well, Mr. Aiken mentioned the senior trip. It sounds like they got off to a good start, and I saw they were in Philadelphia by the Liberty Bell today, so I'm excited for them. A couple kids I wanted to publicly acknowledge. CTC Students of the Quarter, Avery Drew Ryder, Heavy Equipment Technology, Jody Warfield, Automotive Technology, Megan Kyle, Allied Health, and Damian Bonico, Heavy Equipment and Technology. So our kids continue to do so well at CTC. I'm very proud of them, and it's fun to get to acknowledge them and brag on them a little. That's pretty much it. Yes, we're testing. That's all I think about, so
All right.
it's coming.
Well, good. Any questions for the principal? Okay, committee reports. We didn't have any committee meetings since our last meeting, so nothing to report on there. How about MASB?
Not a lot there. I did attend March 22 board meeting in Lansing. We seated 2 new board members, one from UP and one from Jackson, I think. There is going to be a 3% dues increase for MASB for the coming year. A good portion of the meeting, they had a presentation which it was on bias. I went in a little skeptical because I thought it was going to all be about DEI. So I kind of went up with my guard up a little bit, but it was a good presentation. It was just basically talking about we all have inborn biases. You know, if we're honest with ourselves, we all have biases based on different factors, and whether we like to admit it or not. So it was a good presentation just to recognize those, and it was interesting to hear what some people are biased about. So it was a good presentation. There was DEI is still a very hot topic there. MASB has put together a presentation which they will give to schools. I'm kind of in the process of reviewing that material. I'm not sure we want to go there, but anyway, it's out there. So there was no government relations committee meeting this in March. I'm going on this Friday for the. There's not much going on legislatively. There's still a 54-54 split in the House. So I think those special elections are going to be held this month, I think, and then so there's just not much going on legislatively because it's in a deadlock again. Some educational opportunities coming up. April 19 and 20, there's what's called a Spring Institute. Lots of classes being offered. Those are at the headquarters in Lansing. April 24 is what's called Behind the Scenes at the Capitol. I attended that the last couple. It's really a good day. It's one day long. In the morning, there's a kind of a panel discussion with some legislators and that kind of stuff. And then in the afternoon, you're encouraged to meet with your representative or your senator. Just talk to them about education, that kind of stuff. So I do plan on attending. That's on April 24 if anybody's interested. And then fall conference coming up on October 24 through 27, a little bit earlier than years in the past. So that's really all I have.
Yeah, fall in Traverse City.
No, it's going to be in Lansing, and then we'll go to Traverse City. It kind of got screwed. The rotation kind of got screwed up with the pandemic, and so they were committed to next year in Lansing. So, but then next year will be in Traverse City.
All right, thanks, Ken. On to our discussion items. Land use of funds.
Yes, we continue to use our ESSER funds as we have planned, providing needs for students.
31 AA mental health.
Again, using those funds for safety and security and mental health for our students.
Return to in-person instruction, continuity of learning.
Yes, so with that one, I believe this might be the last time we have to do this one. I don't get any cheers or anything like that. Rounds of applause. So basically it's the same plan. I just updated some dates on it. School started as we had planned on August 22nd. Breakfast and lunch is free through the community eligibility provision program. We do not offer virtual options for students. We offer in-person learning for students. We're offering quality evidence-based assessments. We have mental health supports in place. If we were to close, we have specialized services that we will continue for students. We'd figure out how to do them virtually. And as you guys know, we have gone away from face masks, quarantining, keeping kids in cohorts. It's back to normal. So we are back. This should be the last time we have to review this continuity of learning plan.
I'll save the cheers for next month.
Okay. Fair enough. I do believe, Liz, correct me if I'm wrong, we still need to do the 31 AA. But I think, can we get rid of planned use of funds too?
Let's see. We probably could take it off. We'll update that like one last time in the application in May, and then maybe we'll just put it on one more time, and I'll post that, and September 30th, it'll officially be done.
There you go. So it feels like we're making progress.
Yes, 31 AA will have to stay on there for now,
Okay.
though, because they still have the requirement that we offer public, input on that. So until that requirement goes away,
Okay.
we don't want the funding to go away.
No.
Okay, moving on to our action items. Action item A, I guess, is really not an action item, is it? It's more of a recognition.
It's a resolution, yeah.
Oh.
Yep, resolution.
Action item A is outstanding person in education recognition, Dan Verbergmos and Stephanie Klein.
Make a motion that we adopt the resolution for Dan Verbookmos and Melissa Klein, or Stephanie Klein, as presented.
Support.
Motion and support for Dan and Stephanie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Action item B, retirement of Miss Heather Wiggins.
Yes, unfortunately, Ms. Wiggins,
We do nothing but change.
yeah, I was gonna ask you to not approve it. We're excited for her, sad for us and sad for, McBain students, but we are very excited for her. She's been very helpful and, you're helping us kind of prepare for our next, band director. And I have no doubt that anything that we ask for, she'll be happy to help us with. So.
Does that feel kind of tight right now, or do you need any idea?
I don't know, Ken. I don't know. No, Mrs. Wiggins felt confident that we would have some good quality applicants for that position. In her words, McBain's reputation is out there in the Bain world. So good.
I'll make a motion to support her retirement.
Support.
We have a motion and support for Mrs. Wiggins' retirement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations to her and good luck with her retirement. C, Deborah Graham, hire recommendation.
Yep, this is for a parapro position in the elementary school, filling a position that has been vacant. Mrs. Graham has some years of experience teaching, and she's a wonderful lady, great addition to the staff. I'm excited to get to know her.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support for Deborah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? D, Aaron Roby, hire recommendation.
Again, Ms. Roby, filling a vacant position that we had, has students in the school. Excited to have her. She's been in for the last week and a half. Been also another great addition to the staff.
Is that parapro? also?
Parapro, yep, I'm sorry.
Elementary?
Yep.
Motion to hire.
Support.
Motion support for Aaron. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. E, 2023-2024 April proposed general budget amendment.
All right, I'll go over a few notes that I have here, and they were in my budget notes as well, if you have any questions, but this is more of a formality at this time of year to get our grants and those expenditures and revenues in line, and then there were some additional expenditures that we added in. So just pupil counts, property tax revenues. We added some 31AA and section 41 revenue and expenditures. We did get some additional 31AA money that they allocated to us once they figured out where all the funds were going for the state. And the title grants, we do those amendments normally in January. They were pushed back to February this year. And so the budget reflects some staff that we moved around between like at-risk and title. And one type staff bonus that you had approved at the last board meeting. So those have been added amongst all the function codes. And let's see, we ordered some high school furniture. A portion of the weight room renovation that's not going to be covered by the leftover 31A funds that we had last year. Office shredder, new transportation software, we added in there bus tires, some uniforms for athletics and tournament expenditures. And then adjusted accordingly where needed for staff wages and benefits. So that in general is the general fund budget amendment.
Okay.
So.
We did put out a spending freeze to the administrators and directors of May 6th to have all money spent by that and give us a better handle on where we're at. Remember, our last day of school is May 29th, so if we don't have it by May 6th and need it, we should have had a plan for it, I guess. We'll be flexible with that, obviously, with maintenance and transportation, and just because you guys know sometimes things come up.
Yep.
So.
First thing that came to my mind was, you know, we use this budget deficit in our capital projects funding plan. Are we going to revisit that, or, you know what I'm saying? That was in our overall scheme of the capital projects funding for the track and the sinking fund and stuff. So this is going to affect that, obviously.
Right.
And I do
Any
believe
thoughts on that, or?
And we do have some additional built into the budget, and as far as individual line items, so I think you'll see in June that number will probably go closer back to,
Okay.
just depending.
Okay.
But
So you don't see a real need to revisit that whole, okay,
I personally, I don't at this time.
okay.
Just with the project that we've just started, we've already saved some money with the track and contracting. We've raised money for the scoreboard, which is huge. And I don't think that we would need to do that until June, until we have a final end of the year budget.
Yeah.
And even in June, by the time the audit comes back, it changes again. I mean, if you look at our first proposed budget we had a deficit of $588,000 back at the beginning of the year, and just a swing. People don't understand that with school funding in school budgets, that just tires came up and all of a sudden our transportation software wasn't gonna get supported anymore, and just, things just come up, so.
Make motion.
I am not panicking yet, so.
Okay, good.
If that's reassuring.
Make a motion we approve the
next year.
general fund amendment as presented.
Support.
All right, we have motion support for our general budget amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. F, 2023-2024 April proposed food service budget amendment.
Yes, and this is the first amendment that we have done since the original one. And Ken asked a good question about the fund balance. On this one, the beginning fund balance looks different because it's the actual fund balance from last year. Once we knew officially what that number was, that goes into your next amendment. So we adjusted the revenues. When we had done that original budget, we didn't know for sure if we were going to be CEP and where the state was going to be with making all meals free. So that is an adjustment to the local, the state and the federal across the board. So kind of a new funds and shifting of funds. And then as far as the expenditures, we added some additional health benefits or cash in lieu benefits for some of the staff. And the food service costs are like crazy up this year. So, and that, everybody's seeing that. Obviously, you see it when we go to the grocery store, and I'm sure every school is seeing it. And we do have some funds that the state gives us called supply chain assistance monies, and we've used those towards purchasing of milk, which is a kind of a separate line item than the food costs. So we are offsetting the cost of milk, but the food costs are still up. And I also adjusted the capital outlay to relay where we actually ended up with the spend down plan that we did. So and I don't anticipate at this time that we'll have a spend down plan. 3 months of expenditures would be approximately $307,500. And so if our fund balance is below that, then we wouldn't need a plan. So, and it sounds like, the state is going to give the additional funding to make all meals free across the state again, and we have CEP for another 3 years, I believe.
2 years, I think.
Or
I
2
think
years,
it's a
yeah,
2-year
it's a 3-year
commitment.
thing, so, which is good for kids.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Support.
We have a motion support for the food service budget amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. G, the extension of Shelley Gentleman's medical leave.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support for Shelley's medical leave. Do you have an update from her or anything?
We don't, we just said the original leave was through April 15th, I believe. We're gonna need a little more time for that. We're just not gonna put a date on it. Just opens it up. We are hopeful, and I believe Shelley is too, that she will be back before the end of the school year. We're just not sure on the date, so we're just gonna kind of leave it open.
So it's originally April 15th?
I believe it was April 15th.
Okay.
was the original.
Say that
We
again?
had dinner with her sister, Sherry, Friday night. She said she's doing pretty well, having some vision issues still. And I think she's walking with a cane, but without as much as she can, so.
Okay, we do have a motion support for Shelley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that concludes the action items. On to our public comment, which I don't think we're gonna have any tonight. Anything from the board? Nothing?
Make motion we adjourn.
Support. Motion support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you. I do have to have a signature from everyone this week.